Today, I was from the beginning. I was very much interested on this program because Dharmachakra Pravartana Sutra is very very interesting, and the main topic of Dharmachakra Pravartana Sutta, as many speakers have already enumerated, is the Four Noble Truths. It is a main topic of this Dhammachakra Pravartana is Four Noble Truths, which refer to and express the basic orientation of Buddhism. This sutta also refers to the Buddhist concepts of middle path, Madhyama Marga, impermanence. It introduces the fundamental concepts of Buddhist thought, such as the middle way, Four Noble Truths, all these things. And this, according to Buddhist tradition, Buddha has delivered this discourse on the day of Ashadha Purnima. Today we have Ashadha Purnima. Today is Guru Purnima also. Buddha has delivered this in Ashadha Purnima. It is also called Ashadha Puja. In the month of Ashadha, it comes. It is today is a Purnima. And to whom he delivered, there is a big description of this sutra in Mahavagga Vinaya Pitaka. That in the beginning he did not want to give this any teaching to anybody, because he was thinking that it is very very subtle. Whatever I have understood, it's very very deep. How can these people, the Budhujanas, can understand? As Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Sanyam. So exactly, Buddha was a Sanyami, and he was awakened, fully awakened, in which Pudhujanas are completely sleeping. So in this way, he did not want to give any message, he did not want to give any teaching to the people. After enlightenment, he was enjoying his bliss himself. But Brahma Sahampati came and requested him repeatedly. And then Buddha went and gave to this sermon to, there is a big discussion, Alarakama, Udrak Ramaputra, all these, but they were not alive. One died before 1 week and one died the same night. And then ultimately he remembered his 5 companions, and they were Kondaya, Assaji, Bhaddiya, Vappa, Mahanama. And then he went to Isipatana, Mrigadai Isipatana, the deer sanctuary we say in English is Migadai. Migadai means Mrigadai. Mriga in Pali, the R, vowel R becomes sometimes A, sometimes E, sometimes U, like this in Pali. That is why Migadai. But according to some interesting facts I was studying about this sutta, Professor Dr. Rice Davids, he translated this sutta, and Dr. Rice Davids, in his introduction to the introduction of the translation of this sutta, Rice said, it would be difficult to estimate too highly the historical value of this sutta. Several other scholars also expressed the same opinion, views, that how far it is so historical, because even Cousins also, for the first time, it is as if his teaching is as if based on the established teachings. For the first time, he cannot speak like that. I think something else might have spoken, because that is how actually researchers analyzed. According to Richard Gombrich also, of course, we do not know really what Buddha said in his first sermon. That's what he says. And it has even been convincingly demonstrated that the language of the text, as we have it in the main set of formula expression, which are by no means self-explanatory, but refer to already established doctrines. So if you see Dhammachakra Pravartana Sutta, they refer to the already established doctrines, because because it's the first sermon, no? Nobody knows about the four noble truths. Nobody knows about the middle path. So that is why scholars expressed some investigation that it must be, we don't know whether it is first sermon or not, but keeping aside these scholarly researches, what Buddha says in Dhammachakra Pravartana Sutta, many things, but very interestingly, as one monk was quoting that, Buddha asks people to leave the two ends, two shores, two extremes. That is what the Madhyama Marga. The same teaching of Buddha you can find in Sutta Nipata. First verse of Sutta Nipata you will find. What Buddha says in Sutta Nipata, Yo uppattitam vinoti kodham, visatam sappavisamba osadhehi, sobhikku jahati oraparam, urago jinnamivattacham puran. Urago jinnamivattacham puranam. It's so pure poetic. You can find the great simile in this. So in what way a snake abandons, leaves his own skin, in the same way that bhikshu also leaves this oraparam. Oraparam is very interesting. From oraparam only, in Hindi, arpar, the word has come. But this shore and that shore. Para means shore, actually. In Sanskrit also, in Pali also. Two shores he leaves. What are these two shores? But who can do this? He says the person who can control his anger, which is spreading in his heart. You see, very carefully we had to see every word of Pali teachings. You see, yo uppattitam vineti kodam, he pacifies his anger, which is spreading slowly. Anger does not come all of a sudden. It slowly spreads in our heart. It spreads in our mind. So how it is spreading in our mind, he gives example like a poison of the snake spreads in our body slowly. And how that poison goes can be removed, osadhehi, by the medicine. So by this it is quite evident that Buddhists have medicine at that time. Evident, not Buddhists. In ancient India, basically, there was medicine, very clearly. If somebody had this problem, snake bite, for the snake bite, there was a medicine, very clearly evident by this. Visatam sappavisamba osadhehi. So in the same way, a bhikshu, in what way that poison can be eradicated by taking the medicine, in the same way that bhikshu also controls his anger, which is spreading in his mind, inside. That bhikshu can abandon these two shores, two ends. And what are these ends is not explained in this Gatha. You should understand. The one end is, as one bhikshu was telling in English, one end is Kama Sukhallana Yoga is one end. Other end is Atma Klamadhana Yoga. Kama Sukhallana Yoga, Atma Klamadhana Yoga. Kama Sukhallana Yoga means when the person completely attached to this world, means indulging in sensual pleasures, enjoying your sensual attachment, all pleasures of the world. And Atma Klamadhana Yoga means completely abandoning all these pleasures and punishing your own body with severe austerities, upavasa, fastings, like that. That is also severe. The two are extremes. One is enjoying completely, other is leaving all these enjoyments and accepting the fasts and self-mortification, we say. Atma Klamadhana Yoga, self-mortification. Both are not good, Buddha says, because we need some energy to the mind. That is why, and that he can, only that bhikshu can understand, the bhikshu who can control his anger. Only he can understand, who can do this kind of thing, this kind of arapara. He can abandon these both shores, both ends. So in this way, we should understand the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So I enjoyed all the speeches, and I'm very much thankful to all respected monks and also scholars, students, everybody. Thank you so much. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Upendra Rao, for the enlightening explanation of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Thank you so much.